Whoa, buddy. Put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
The greed and the entitlement is astounding to me.
What more could you want from a low-budget radio program?
This is a dumpster fire.
That was just BS.
It is time to get a new perspective.
We know just what you need, and we've got just the cure. Open wide and prepare for a steaming hot cup of freedom.
I just don't fathom it.
The Michael Dukes Show, streaming live across the world.
Oh, baby, live around the world on the internet at michaeldukeshow.com and across the state of Alaska on this, your favorite radio station and or FM translator. Good morning, my friends. Welcome to it. Another beautiful snowy day, 31 degrees here on top of the world in Homer, Alaska, and a little chilly around the rest of the state as well. -7 degrees in Fairbanks right now. For the folks up there, they're trying to stay warm. It's all good. We're loaded today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about and some great things. We're going to be chatting here in just a second with Susanna Webster, who is putting together a big potluck for the Foodbank down here in Homer, down at the Porcupine Theater. We're going to talk with her here in just a hot minute. And we're also going to cover, of course, a lot of the big headlines from over the weekend. And we're going to finish up in hour 2. Today is November the 10th, and that marks the 250th anniversary or birthday of the United States Marine Corps. And so we're going to get a chance to chat with folks from the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation and talk about their new program called Marines Across America for the 250th birthday of the Corps. And that's going on today. Semper Fi to all the Marines out there. So that's what we got lined up for today. It's going to be a busy day and a big show with lots of things to cover. So without further ado, let's jump into this here and get things ready to rock and roll. Let's bring Susanna on the program to start things off this morning to talk about some hope and some heart and some fun stuff. And we'll get some rundown here. Good morning, Susanna. How are you?
Good morning, Michael. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm doing well.
Thanks for coming on. So we've got a big community potluck and fundraiser. Of course, we know that we can't stop listening to the news, and every 5 minutes it tells us that we've got a lot of problems with our food system and food pantries across the country, of course, and people struggling to be able to make sure that they've got food and everything else. And some folks in the community are coming together. You've got a big fundraiser coming up this week on Thursday. Tell us a little bit about it. Tell us what's happening here.
Yeah, well, even more than a fundraiser, I think that it's just a community building event. Nothing beats a good potluck, and we've had success in the past at the Porcupine coming together and doing these types of community events. And I was inspired by a few weeks ago. We had a premiere of a local filmmaker's new film and a performance by the band Bumua, and decided to put a potluck in the middle of it, sort of between the film and the live performance. And I was, biting my nails the whole time, concerned, are people going to show up? Are they going to bring dishes? Are they going to eat the food that other people prepare? And it was such a huge success and such a great feeling to share food with your community that we decided to do it again. And so that sort of was the inspiration for this event. And then, of course, there's a fundraising component. Those that can afford to pitch in some money to help support the local food pantry, I think will be happy to do it. Those that just want to show up and have a great meal and share a meal with their community, the people around them, I think there's, they can do that as well.
Right.
So
And the money is all, and whatever money is raised, and there is a suggested donation
Mm-hmm.
of $20.
Mm-hmm.
Kids eat free, but bring your favorite dish to share, or just come hungry if you're hungry and enjoy the big spread that they've got going on there. And of course, all the dollars going to help support the local food bank here in Homer. And
Absolutely.
like I said, there's been a lot of food banks that have been stretched. And of course, between the burden of the typhoon and everything else, I mean, we got a lot of things going on across the state. But if you're down here in the Homer area, here's a good opportunity to come out and, like you said, meet your neighbor and say
Yeah.
hi, and bring a bag of chips or your favorite casserole or whatever it is that you're doing, and sit down and enjoy a little bit of quiet time with folks.
Absolutely. And the people from the board from the food pantry will be there to answer questions, and people who are curious about what their programming is like and what they do each week and each month and each year and how many people they serve. And if you have questions, show up. It's a good opportunity to just kind of have a casual conversation and get some questions answered. Whether you're looking for services or you're looking to volunteer, it'll be a good opportunity.
Right. Now, and just for clarification, it's taking place at the Porcupine Theater, but there's no
It
movie
is.
that night. There's no movies.
There's no movie.
Yeah,
No,
no
there
food.
won't be a movie on the screen. We will have some live musical entertainment. Um, it's going to be a surprise.
It's
So
going to
you
be
got
a
to show up
surprise.
to see what that is.
Surprise musical act will appear.
Yes.
The Porcupine has done a bang up job of being a hub of community here in the Homer area, doing all different kinds of stuff. And my family has had a great time being able to go down there and enjoy some of the different events that they're doing down there. And of course, having a little bit of a chance to escape and go out there and enjoy some older movies or newer movies has always been a blessing down there. Suzanne, if somebody is outside the area or they can't make it, but they know they want to help, is there a way to contribute, beyond showing up and eating the food and doing else? Is there a way that they can help along with this process?
Well, absolutely. If they want to go to the website and find the event on our website, we do have tickets available. And so if they wanted to purchase a pack of tickets, all that money that's raised through online sales or at the door will be donated directly to the Porcupine. If they want to just reach out, they can contact me through the website and I can direct them to the food pantry. I believe the food pantry they have a pretty great new website within the past year, and there are opportunities to donate as well. And if they just have questions,
Right.
feel free to reach out to me direct. All emails from the website go to me. So if they want to know anything.
Yep. And she's a chief cook and bottle washer around there. She does a little bit of everything over there. And you can find that, by the way, by going to porcupinetheater.com. I posted links up in the chat room for folks if they want to follow the link and, drop a 10 or 20 or $30 bill into I know that there's no $30 bill. You know what I mean? Put it into the system and help support the local food bank. That would be great, and help out. And you guys do, just for a little shameless plug for the Porcupine on your way through there, Susanna, you guys also do all different other kinds of community events and fundraisers there at the Porcupine as well, right?
We do. Last Wednesday, we had a bang up success fundraiser for the Homer Rope Tow and the Ketchimack Ski Club. And next Wednesday, we have a fundraising, the annual meeting for the Trails Friends of Ketchimack Bay State Park. We've got a great concert coming up this weekend on the 15th, Dreamcat and the Robots. It's an all ages show. A great opportunity for youngsters and adults to come out and listen to some fun music. It's a busy month for us. I can't wait for December. We're going to be playing lots of Christmas music. Christmas movies in December.
I'll be playing Christmas music. You'll be playing.
You'll be playing Christmas music. We'll be playing Christmas movies.
No, I love me. I had to smile because before the show, I've been listening to Christmas music this last few days, just to try and get in the mood a little sooner. And so having some old Christmas movies would not be a bad thing. We've always got to watch. It's a Wonderful Life and some of the other classics that are out there. So I'm hoping that you're going to have. I haven't looked at the December list yet, but
we haven't published it yet. We still have to finalize it, but yes, that one's on there.
get it finalized. Get it. It's going to be good stuff. I can't wait to be able to go back in there and enjoy some great Christmas stuff. Okay, so back to the point of the fundraiser for the Homer Food Bank. Again, going on Wednesday at 7 p. Is it 7 p.m.?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
6 to 8. Yep.
6 to 8. So she's going to have some surprise music while you're there, and just bring your favorite dish to share, or just come hungry and enjoy the music and enjoy the food and the music and all the folks who are down there. And again, it's all going to benefit the Homer Community Food Bank. And you can drop a $20 donation while you're there, or bring food, or do a little bit of both. And of course, as always, you can go to porcupinetheater.com, and anything you buy now, or if you send her an email and say, hey, I'm buying a ticket pack, please donate it to the food bank. Susanna will take care of that. And it's going to be good. Yeah. And now they're saying I'm going to be playing Santa for the month of December. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be playing Santa.
100%. We've already had that conversation.
Susanna she's beat me down and said, hey, you might want to play a Santa guy. Anyway, it's going to be fun stuff. All right. So Wednesday, 6 p.m. Susanna, any final thoughts here on how we can help, or anything else before I let you go?
No, I appreciate you having me on the show, and just want to make sure that the whole community is invited, and whether you show up with food or empty-handed, show up hungry, everybody's invited, and we can't wait to see you guys on Wednesday.
No, that'll be great, and I look forward to seeing all the food and what folks can do, and of course, people coming out and supporting their community. That's what it's about. Community is about togetherness and just helping out those who can, and enjoying a little time together. So Susanna Webster from the Porcupine Theater. Again, you can find them at porcupinetheater.com. And anything that you purchase or buy for the Wednesday showing or whatever will be donated to the Homer Food Bank, Community Food Bank. All right, Susanna. Well, thank you for coming on board and braving the early mornings with us. I appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you again here in the future to talk more about what you guys are doing there.
Thanks, Michael. Have a great morning.
All right. Appreciate you coming out and coming on board. Susanna Webster from the Porcupine. So it's a good place to start the day, right? A little bit of good news. I like me some good news in the morning. Communities coming together and doing what we can do, and I love that. So it's one of the reasons why I love living in Homer. Small little town with a big heart and a fishing problem. It was a fishing drinking problem. It's a drinking fish problem. Whatever it is, we're going to have a good time here in Homer when it comes down to it. All right, we are we're close enough to the break. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm the boss. I can do what I want. Let's make this happen. We're going to continue here in just a moment. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Some headlines from around the state up next as we continue. And is the shutdown, or is it? I mean, can we keep track? I don't know. We'll touch on that in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show. Back with more right after this.
If you missed the show, you can listen to it on your time with Dukes On Demand. Oh, and it's free. Like America used to be. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay, we're in the break. Susanna's still with us. Let's bring Susanna back on real quick. It's just you, me, and 50 of our closest friends on the internet right now, Susanna. Thank you for coming on board, and thank you for pulling all this together and putting it out there. We really appreciate that. And we appreciate all that you guys do down at the Porcupine to foster community. We love that.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Sorry, I was about to close my browser. I didn't know.
Oh, okay. No, I saw you still hanging out there, so I thought maybe you had one more thing to say. I always wanted to give you the last bite at the apple, so to speak. So if there's anything else other than that, I just wanted to wish you a good morning and thank you for coming on board.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. Yes,
All right.
I don't know the technology, how I'm supposed to close the thing.
Oh,
So
that's fine. You just
that's why I'm still here.
click the X on the browser and you're good to go. All right. We'll see you later. Thanks, Suzanne.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Michael.
it.
Bye.
That's great. I love that. All right. Yeah. So interesting day today. Let's get stuff going. For those of you who don't know, the Suzanne Downing launched her new news site. That's kind of fun. Lots of good information over there. We'll be talking about that here in a minute. We'll see where things go from here. But it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting stuff. We've got the shutdown is maybe going to be stop. I don't know. I hate to keep giving false hope. I hate to keep giving false hope to folks, and I feel a little bit that might be like might be what that is. We'll see what happens, whether or not this deal actually comes together, or whether or not it's going to be there was, I can't remember who predicted it, but I can't remember who it was now, but it was somebody that I follow or listen to or watch frequently, had said something along the lines of they fully expect that this is going to go all the way right up until Thanksgiving. And which is what, another 15 days away, another 2 weeks away. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you. This is completely preventable. But we'll see what happens. I mean, now they've got the airline shutting down more and more flights. 2,000 flights canceled on Sunday, and 7,000 flights delayed. And of course, we were just, the food stamp benefits and everything else. I mean, just how inept do we have to be to continue to do, and how many times do we have to keep doing this? Why can't we just get back to regular order? Right? Why do we have to keep this? Why do we have to keep doing this craziness with the with the continuing resolutions? Why can't we get back to regular order where we can actually put a budget together and actually do it, instead of we'll just continue to, limp along? I mean, what is this? 15, 18, 19, 20 continuing resolutions to keep the government rolling instead of actually doing the work that they're supposed to be doing? It just makes no sense to me. Just no sense whatsoever. But again, I guess I'm not in Congress, and I'm not making those big bucks and making all those heady decisions for the rest of the rest of the country there. All right, we're going to continue on here. We will. Okay, you're correct, Dukes. Yeah, I know, but I still don't understand. That's the problem. I still don't understand. Here we go.
The Michael Duke Show. Seriously humorous with a pinch of intellect. Sorry. That is humorous. Here's Michael Dukes.
All right. Welcome back to the program. Monday edition of the show. Little bit of a dusting of the white stuff out there. Not too much, not too little, not too late. It's just perfect. Just perfect around here. That's what we love. All right, some big headlines from around the state, and I guess we'll start off with the biggest one, although it is a national story. If you haven't heard, I would bring you up to speed on it. There's a group of Democrats in the middle, moderate Democrats, who have now brokered a tentative deal to reopen the government if the Republicans promise to hold a vote on expiring healthcare subsidies by December. Now, when I read this to begin with, and again, I don't want to get too deep into the national politics weeds because that's not our normal purview. But I will say this. Hasn't there been a vote on the expiring healthcare subsidies every time they voted to stop the shutdown? Right? Now, I mean, it's contingent, right? That's what they've been crying for. Oh, we need the tax breaks again. And that's why they voted no. And the Republicans have all voted yes to stop the shutdown. And, so I don't know. I don't know if this is just a face-saving measure or what, but it just seems like every time they vote on this, they're essentially taking a vote on whether or not to keep the expiring subsidies in December. But I digress. So Republicans, if they promise to hold a vote on the healthcare subsidies by December, the Democrats they've formed a coalition. They're going to do it. Now, Chuck Schumer has already said, because it doesn't guarantee that those subsidies will be covered, he's a no vote. He's a no vote on reopening the no. And then Bernie Sanders said he walked into the meeting that, when he walked into the meeting, it would be a horrific mistake to cave into Trump and the Republicans right now. They just want a clean continuing resolution. That's all they want. That's all they've asked for. The same thing you voted for over a dozen times, 15, 16 times, whatever it is you voted for in the past. That's all they want. So this could be until Wednesday. The Senate has voted on this apparently and passed it. The agreement would fund parts of the government, food aid, veterans program, and the legislative branch, and extend funding for everything else until the end of January. It would reinstate federal workers who had received a RIF or a layoff notices and reimburses the states that spent their own funds to keep federal programs running. It would also protect future reductions in force through January and guarantee that all federal workers would be paid once the shutdown is over. And along with the funding fix, Republicans released a final legislative text of 3 full-year spending bills on Sunday. The legislation keeps a ban on pay raises for lawmakers, but boosts their security. Boosts their security by $203 million in response to increased threats. There's also a provision in there championed by Mitch McConnell to prevent the sale of hemp-based products. Mitch McConnell. He had to slip that one in there on the way in. He had to slip that one in. Now, most people don't know how close this whole thing is anyway, but the Republicans only need 5 Democrats to reopen the government. That's all they need, 5. And although many of the Democrats have said it's just not enough, they feel like they can peel off this 5, and we'll see what we can come up with. Anyway, we'll know more here later today as to whether or not this deal is actually going through. There's no guarantee as of right now, but if they can work out all the details, it should be done by sometime on Wednesday. So hopefully we'll see where it goes from there. and we'll be watching. Yeah. All right. So let's bring it back a little closer to home. What are some of the other stories that I want to cover this morning? Well, there is some troubling news afoot. First and foremost, that I don't know if you caught this story, that there is a campaign disclosure complaint that's been filed against Louise Stutes, Representative Louise Stutes out of Kodiak. She is now going to be running for Gary Stevens's seat as in the Senate. She's going to try and jump from the House to the Senate. And there is a multi-page what do we call it? Complaint filing that was filed by Randy Rudrick. The complaint spans more than a dozen pages and alleges that Stutes, a veteran lawmaker, former Speaker of the House, failed to properly disclose donors, misstated expenditures, and used campaign funds for personal benefit in violation of Alaska's campaign finance statutes and administrative code. This is if this is true, this is going to be a huge problem for Louise, because this is not just a matter of public opinion. If APOC does get involved, the potential fines, where was it? If it was I saw the headline here. The potential fines on this, there we go. Rudrick has estimated a minimum of 50 distinct violations, with potential daily civil penalties exceeding $1 million if APOC confirms the infraction and applies the maximum fines. Now, APOC almost never applies the maximum fines, but even if it was half that, it's a significant amount of money, right? So what exactly is the hubbub, bub? What's Rudrick saying? He says that Stutes falsely identified the online fundraising processor Democracy Engine LLC as a political action committee in her 2022 filing campaigns. The errors and the repeated problems are from 2020, 2022, and 2024 APOC reports, is what he's alleging. That they basically labeled the Democracy Engine LLC as a PAC in their 2022 filings to conceal the true identities of her contributors. Democracy Engine is a payment platform used by campaigns nationwide. It's not a registered PAC and is required by its own policies to provide donor names to recipients for regulatory compliance. So she's just taking all the money from this Democracy Engine LLC, even though they provided her with the name and information from every contributor. They just lumped it under one thing and said, oh, this is PAC money, which that's a no-no. It's a big no-no. By labeling Democracy Engine as a PAC, Rudrick claims that Stutes hid the real contributors and exceeded the state's $1,000 annual contribution limit from a single PAC. So this is a twofer, because you can only have $1,000 from a single PAC, and you're supposed to list the names of every contributor that you're getting money from. So by claiming that it's a PAC, not only did they not list every contributor, which is strike one, they also exceeded the $1,000 annual contribution limit, strike two. The complaint also accuses Stutes of misreporting payments to Hackney, which is a well-known communications agency that deals mostly with broadcast advertising. It's not known to provide print or campaign services. In 2022 and 2024, Stutes reported thousands of dollars in expenditures to those firms for flyers and campaign literature. But Rudrick says that they were either inaccurately described or possibly unauthorized. Then it goes back to a whole bunch of reporting failures. The complaint details a series of alleged false or late filings dating back to the 2020 campaign. In that cycle, Stutes filed her year-end report 3 times in February of 2021 before reaching the $0 balance required by law with her bank account. With two of those it's a $0 balance as far as pay-ins and payouts. With two of those reports being filed after the statutory deadline. In a 2024, according to the complaint, Stut's campaign filing became extremely troubling. Her 30-day and 7-day pre-election reports allegedly failed to reconcile with her campaign bank account and omitted previously reported income and expenses, including several reimbursements to herself, one a $736 payment in September and a $453 payment in October, that were reportedly made outside the 3-day repayment window permitted under Alaska statute, requiring her to forfeit those funds. The complaint identifies at least 15 post-election expenditures that Rudrick says were personal and not authorized under the statute, which bars the conversion of campaign funds to personal use. He estimates a minimum of 50 distinct violations, again, with potential daily civil penalties exceeding $1 million. Now, why this is all coming to light now? Well, the articles have all stated that basically while Stutz was in the House, those races were not contested, really. I mean, anybody barely ran against her, right? But the fact that she's now jumping into the Senate for the 2026 campaign, Rudrick says, raises the stakes for accountability, which I completely disagree with. She should have been accountable the whole freaking time. Just because she goes from the House to the Senate does not raise the stakes she should have been accountable the whole time. Now, having gone through the whole process with APOC in the past when I was running for office, and having been subject to some fines because on my first go around, I didn't know that I had to do a closing, report and all that. Now it was only $150 in fines, but it's still irritating and agitating and when you're freaking out when you're like, what am I supposed to be doing here? I can tell you there's some challenges to it, but as a candidate who's been in office for 25 years, she ought to know. She ought to have this stuff down. She ought to know what's going on. And yes, she should have had, there shouldn't be stakes raising for accountability. She's been in the House long enough that she should know exactly what needs to be done and what needs to be taken care of. And the APOC people will help you. I mean, I remember Heather at the APOC office. She was super nice, and she helped me get everything done to the best of my ability and get it all finished up and answered all my questions. This is not, it's can be difficult, but it's not rocket surgery, right? But 50 separate violations. Oof. And it sounds like if true, if the allegations are true, and I'm going to say if, because I don't know, it sounds like there was some knowingly stuff that was done knowingly in the back. You shouldn't have done that. You should have known better, is what I'm saying. Now, what does this portend for this Senate race that she's now going to take over? No idea. I have no idea what's going to. I haven't heard of anybody else that's going to want to run against her, but I mean, I hope somebody has to. Somebody has to run the race for that seat here in this area, because she covers the whole Kodiak and Lower Peninsula, and it's all Gary Stevens. Somebody has got to step up to the plate, and let's hope we get a good candidate on this. But this is troubling. This is troubling, and we're gonna see where it goes. We'll be watching. I'll be watching you, watching closely on this. All right, we got to go. We will be back with more. Don't go anywhere. Hour 1 finishing up. Hour 2. At the bottom half, we're going to be joined by Major General Lukeman. Jeez, I demoted him accidentally. Sorry, General. Major General Lukeman from the Marine Heritage Foundation. And we will be back. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio.
Listened to by more staffers in Juneau than any other show. Because their bosses told them to. And after what they just heard, oh man, they're going to be pissed.
You're a bad, bad man.
The Michael Duke Show.
Okay. All right. Boo, what? What? Yes, Sullivan canceled his fundraiser night. Education task force is meeting today. And then Kevin said the education task force wants to double the BSA from 6K to over 13K. I mean, was this actual public knowledge? Is this something that they've thrown out there? Because I didn't see that. I mean, how in the hell are we supposed to pay for that? A $620 increase was what, $179, $180 million? And you want to increase it by almost $7,000? How in the what? Inquiring minds want to know, Kevin. Did they say that? Is that been wow. Rebecca just said that around there, where is it? Rebecca says, stuck with Stoots is the way we say it around our house. Stuck with Stoots is what we say. Oof, man, that's a crazy thing. All right. Good morning. Pumpkin pie. Stoots thinks she's untouchable. Let's see. There are more APOC reporting requirements for an Alaska school board than there are for a presidential candidate. APOC no longer provides that help. Oh, geez. Okay. Sarah Vance would be a good choice. Yeah. I mean, I that would be interesting. Let's see. Every Alaskan. Oh, this is how we pay for it. Here's what Kim says. This is how we pay for it. Every Alaskan will have to sign a promissory note to all future PFD payments for coverage to the BSA. Still not enough money. There's still not enough money in there. Because if $680 million or $680 increase in the BSA, right? That's what it was. 680 was just under $200 million. You're going to increase it by 7,000. That's over $2 billion. I mean, that's the $2 billion. There's no way. Kevin said, let me go back here because I was so far behind at one point. They said they want to double the BSA. And then Kevin said something along the lines of that was something from somebody who was testifying. So they're being advised. Is that what it is? They're being advised by the people that they have. It's one of the invited testimony presentations in Q. So they're going to be advised by somebody that they need a $13,000, not a $6,000 BSA, but a $13,000 BSA. These people are so out of touch. All right. I'm pulling back here, scrolling backwards. Okay, we're all good. Yeah, and Frank Turney rolls at his grave. It's just crazy. Yeah, such important legislation banning hemp. I mean, I don't understand. Mitch McConnell, the man's an idiot. All right, well, let's go here. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the YouTube-y things, etc., etc. Let's get to it. We're 20 seconds out. I'm way early. That's because I messed up my timer there. Wow, Harold is just bleeding like a sheep this morning. What's going on out there, Harold? Did you not have your morning cup of poisonous coffee? Are you just bleeding for the bleeding's sake? What's going on? Sorry, I can't. I'm not even going to bother to read read out loud what he's writing, because I think he's just looking for some attention this morning. He's just looking for some attention. All right, here we go. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Let's do it.
Public enema number one. Oh, wait, sorry. Public enemy number one, which makes more sense. On the other hand, he's a little bit of a pain in the Michael Duke Show.
Okay. Hello. You guys ready to continue on here? We were just having conversations in the chat room. There is a meeting today of the education task force. And we got into that conversation during the commercial break. And according to some of the testimony that's queued up for today, they are pushing the testifiers are pushing the task force that they want to double the BSA, the base student allocation. That they want to double the BSA from just over $6,000 per student. Apparently, the testimony is talking about how what we really need it to be over $13,000. Now, I mean, I understand shooting for the moon just to be able to hit the side of the barn, but that seems a little. I mean, first of all, there's just no way. Let me bust it down for you. Let me bust it down for you, Barney style, here in just a second. Because if this is true, and I have no reason to doubt Kevin, but I mean, and I guess we'll wait to see what the recording says after today's meeting. But let me just hypothetically say that, yeah, they want to double the BSA from just north of $6,000 to $13,000 per student. Okay. So this last go around, the whole contentious argument, right? The veto, the override, all that kind of stuff. That was $680. It was a $680 increase. And that was just south of about $200 million in educational funding increase, right? 183, something like that. Let's just say 200 for a flat number. It's a significant amount of money for $680. If you want to go from over $6,000 in BSA adjustment to $13,000 in BSA, so 13,000 and 680 is 200 million. That's a $7,000 increase. You're looking at what? $2.2 billion in additional spending. That's on top of the nearly $2 billion we already spend now. How would you even pay for that? I mean, not just a question of who pays, but how do you pay? There's not enough money on that. And quite honestly, so far, I have just not been encouraged by what's going on with the education committee to begin with. So despite the fact that at their October 30th presentation here about 10 days ago, The Alaska school administrators recommended that lawmakers rescind the READS Act. Now, that's the law that has seen, third graders go from 41% of the reading benchmark to 60% in a 2-year period. They went from 41% reading at grade proficiency to 60% in just the first 2 years of what's going on. It was a tremendous jump in academic achievement. But despite that, the group, which is the Alaska Council of School Administrators, which is like, I guess, school principals working group or I don't know what it is. Anyway, they're saying that it is the Alaska READS Act is a unfunded mandate and should be abandoned. I mean, instead, they want to see more funding allotted for so-called enrichment and intervention programs. This is from Joel Davis over at The Watchman. The recommendations were part of a larger presentation asking lawmakers to increase spending on government-run education through higher per-student funding, more benefits, higher wages for educators, staff housing for teachers where costs are high, and increased spendings on numerous capital improvement projects. Now, of all those things, the one thing that's proven effective is the Alaska READS Act. And now they are talking about wanting to close it down. The one thing, why? Well, because it includes policy. They don't want to be told what to do. I mean, this is literally a bunch of people saying, you can't tell me what to do. What I want is I want money and I want it now. And no, we won't commit to anything. And even though you put this Alaska READS Act into law, which it established reading curriculums and screenings and retoolings and it completely changed the way that reading programs were done across the state because it had policy in it. That's why I think it took 6 years for it to get passed. 6 years. This is a program that had seen success across the country, including grabbing in Mississippi and pulling Mississippi up by the bootstraps and taking them from the bottom of the pack to well into the upper middle of the pack in reading a stat. This is something that worked. And it took 6 years for it to get passed. Why? Well, because it's policy. You can't tell us what to do. You're not in charge of us. But it's the one thing that this task force wants to cut out. Which again, just tells me everything you needed to know about what's going on with the task force, you could have figured out when you first looked at the makeup of the task force. And you realize that it's filled with a bunch of teachers and ex-teachers and administrators and school wonks and education, sycophants and everything else that you already knew. What they already know the outcome they want. What they're looking for is the political cover to make all this happen. That's what they're doing right now. They're looking for the political cover to make it all happen. So we'll be watching this, but I mean, I don't, and if it quite honestly, if it comes out that they are trying to double the BSA, somebody just ought to, run those people out of town on a rail, because how in the world are you going to pay for that? And yes, Harold, even if we completely changed the oil taxation scheme and got another $1 billion a year from the oil company, it's not the $2 billion that they would need to double that. Melissa Burnett, the former school board president, says the Alaska READS Act is working and districts need to prioritize making it work. You don't need extra funding for it to be successful. Fairbanks has proven that. But they love to talk about the unfunded mandate, Melissa. That's what they love to talk. They love to use it as a talking point. It's an unfunded mandate. Stop giving us policy. We'll decide what the policy is. You shut up and write us the check. That's what they're saying. You shut up and we saw this in the last legislative session, right? All the Republicans wanted to do was talk a little bit about maybe some potential policy changes or give us some policy changes. And everybody was like, no policy. You pay us and then we'll take care of it. They want to repeal the Alaska Reads Act and potentially double the BSA. Brian says, reading might lead to thinking, Melissa, and thinking people are a threat to the state. Yep. Threat to the state. Can't have people who can think for themselves. You never know what may happen. If they thought for themselves, they might not buy into what's going on. Yeah. Mississippi's fourth grade NEEP scores rose 10 points between 2013 and 2019 and propelled it from the nation's cellar to the national average. Well, but that 10 points, we rose from 41 to 60. That's 19 points in a year and a half. They rose 10 points between 2013 and 2019. It took them 6 years to raise 10 points. We put the program in, and K through 3 graders went from 41% to 60% at their reading benchmark in just 2 years. But we should eliminate unfunded and underfunded initiatives. The example, the Alaska Reads Act. This is from the presentation. Oh God. All right. We're gonna go. We got more coming up. I still got some other stories to talk about, including what's going. Oh, we're gonna keep on with education here this morning. You want to see what's happening in the Anchorage School District? It will make you sick. We'll be back. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Okay. I'm looking for this. Where is this Attorney General State of Alaska? There is another post here that's going to kind of blow your mind. Let me, I got to go over to X for a second. I'm not normally over here. Okay. State of Alaska. There we go. Okay, I got it. Oh, this hit libs of TikTok. Holy Lord. This thing's going to blow up. All right. So we're going to continue here with this next story. But I mean, just think about where we are. That anything that's succeeding, I mean, we're literally in the upside down right now, right? Anything that's succeeding needs to be killed. Anything that's not working, we need to fund it more. I mean, that's what they're doing, right? This is the direction that we're heading. It's just astonishing. Also, Shelley Hughes has changed her position on dropping out of the ranked choice voting thing. That's interesting. We'll talk about that. And oh yeah, Adam Crum has been taking pot shots at Treg Taylor. I don't know if you heard about this one. This is from last week. But I just didn't get around to it last week when we were talking. Yeah. Here we go. I got it. Oh. Let's continue on here. Let me get caught up in the chat room here. Kevin has an essay on the BSA increase. Kevin, why don't you send me that via messenger? Sorry, I'm backing up here. I'm backing up to get to where I was in my messages so I could see what's going on. Okay, here we go. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. All right. I think there we go. I think I'm all squared away now. I should be ready to go. Yeah, Kevin, if you want to send me a link to your to that BSA thing where they're trying to, if you got any kind of commentary on it or some back links, I will follow it this morning and we'll continue on. All right, the Democrats, 8 of the Democrats broke ranks in the Senate, and it goes to the House. We'll see how long it takes, says Rick. So they only needed 5. They got 8. So they have voted the shutdown out of the Senate. What's the turd report say here? The Drudge report. End of shutdown. All right, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. Still no word as to how long the House will be into it or anything else. All right, we'll keep you up to date on that if anything else changes. Embrace the suck. Educational task force members will be visiting Mountain View Elementary tomorrow for Veterans Day celebration. They will be in town, so wondering if they would agree to an interview, said Kim. Oh, very doubtful, Kim. Very, very doubtful. Besides the fact that this studio is the size of a large closet. So we're not fitting a bunch of people in here. We could do it, like we do most interviews, which is over the internet, but we'll have to see. Scrolling backwards here. See. So let me get this straight, says Tawny. Their job is to teach children how to read, write, and do math. And since the READS Act is working, now they want that repealed. Oh my God, they've lost their mind. I mean, this is how it works, folks. This is how the whole thing worked. I'm thrilled to support giving every penny Odin and Picus and the Education Task Force on the education funding demand, says Kevin. Okay. Wow. It's double. Wow. Okay. So we're gonna get. Kevin just dropped me this story. For this. This is from the Odin Picus study, which is on the docket for the Education Funding Task Force for today's meeting. Oh, man, you know what? It's just nutty. The whole thing is just nuttier than squirrel poo at this point. What are you going to do? How are you going to make this happen? I don't know. We got to go back. We'll be back.
Buddy, put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
The greed and the entitlement is astounding to me.
What more could you want from a low-budget radio program?
This is a dumpster fire.
That's just BS.
It is time to get a new perspective.
We know just what you need, and we've got just the cure. Open wide and prepare for a steaming hot cup of freedom.
I just don't fathom it.
The Michael Dukes Show, streaming live across the world.
Live around the world on the internet at michaeldukeshow.com and across the state of Alaska on this, your favorite radio station and or FM translator. Hello, my friends. Thank you for coming in and joining us today on this beautiful Monday. Again, 31 degrees down here in beautiful Homer. It's -7 up in Fairbanks, and it's a variety of temperatures in between here and there. So stay warm. Stay warm. Is that the first sub-zero temperatures in Fairbanks this winter, so far this winter? Because that's kind of a late late time to go sub-zero out there. All right, today on the program in hour 2 here, we're going to be joined in about 20 minutes or so by Major General Lukeman with the Marine Heritage Foundation. Today is the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah, right? I mean, this is going to be some great stuff. And they have got a big program called Marines Across America, which is it spotlights notable Marines, and they're doing a big cake cutting ceremony and everything else. So we're going to talk about this as well. They're highlighting some Marines in Alaska. Obviously, Dan Sullivan is probably one of the most high visibility Marines. But Sarah Gray, who is a Marine veteran who served 5 years in the early aughts with the deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq, and now works as a special ed teacher. She published a book called Millie's the Moose Blurts. John Rowan is a Marine Corps veteran and woodcarver from, where's he from? Klawak, Alaska, who spent 2 months carving a veteran's totem pole from red cedar. And then Keaton Lobrick, who is a Marine veteran from Michigan, who has been running in the Iditarod, the Iditarod and the Yukon Quest. So those are some of the notable Marines here in Alaska. And this program, Marines Across America, highlights the skills and how a lot of the Marine Corps are taking the values and skills they learned in the Corps to become leaders in their community. So we're going to talk with Major Lukeman about that here, Major General Lukeman, in just a little bit before we get to it. Meanwhile, we were just talking about the Education Task Force meeting today, and the only thing that you keep, and I'll say what I said earlier, which is they've already decided what they want the outcome to be. So now they're just looking for political cover to make it happen. And it's been the same refrain the whole time. The same refrain that we heard 25 years ago, we're hearing today. And Kevin McCabe sums it up in his article over here on Substack. Alaska schools are broken because the legislature just doesn't give us enough money. That's the refrain. That's what it's all about. They don't never talk about the kids. They never talk about the policies. They never talk about anything. What they talk about is you just don't give us enough money. And where that number that we were in the last hour, for those of you just joining us, the Education Task Force is going to be looking at apparently a proposal or an ask stating that what they need is they need a base student allocation, a new BSA number that's $13,612. Now that's over double what they have right now. Right now they're at whatever it's $6,700 per student. $13,612 per student. That comes from an Odin Picca study that's in the documents that the Education Funding Task Force is going to be looking at today in their meeting. That they need to make it all happen, to do what they need to do, they need a $13,000 BSA. Again, that's up to $2 billion more than what we're spending right now on education. How in the world are you expected to pay for that? But it is what it is. The Odin Pincus report, if you read it, nearly every recommendation is already available in the private marketplace, homeschools or charter schools. The private sector can deliver all of it today, says Kevin. The only thing standing in the way is the 1970s NEA-driven monopoly that does not trust parents. Man, I can't even wrap my brain around it. And then this went across the electronic transom. I don't know if you saw this from yesterday, Saturday. A parent in the Anchorage School District, her name is Catherine Hardy. Her daughter came home with a U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. It's all one pamphlet, right? She came home with it as a handout from the day, but on the back of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States was a sticker that says, "The Anchorage School District does not endorse these materials or the viewpoints expressed in them." Now, I've got so many things to say to this. First and foremost, let me play devil's advocate for a second. Okay? This all-in-one Declaration and Constitution is printed and provided to the school district by Hillsdale College. Okay? Now, I haven't seen this specific version of it, but I know that in previous editions of the combination Constitution and Declaration that I have seen or had, that there's always some kind of folio page at the beginning where Hillsdale says this is important stuff about liberty and freedom and, everything else. So apparently the school went out and said, "Oh, we always put these stickers on any outside material that we have." To which many people said, "No, you don't. Here's this and here's that and here's this that we've gotten, and you don't put stickers on any of that stuff." But somebody took the time to print out however many stickers that it took, labels that it took, to put that the Anchorage School District does not endorse these materials or the viewpoint expressed within of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Again, if it could be proven that you are putting these on everything, okay, then I guess you get a pass on it because it is an outside. It is, but again, you're not doing it. And it seemed like somebody was just like, we just don't. And what is going on? What is going on? I mean, the ASD staff spent, taxpayer money to print these stickers and apply the disclaimer to the founding documents of the country. I mean, I'm like, what? This is what you're doing? And by the way, this one's got some legs on it, folks. The Attorney General of Alaska posted on X yesterday, "This is deeply concerning. Public officers have to uphold and defend the Constitution. I took such an oath on my first day. Alaska law requires school board members to sign and swear to support and defend the U.S. Constitution." When a public school district says it won't endorse the Constitution or the Declaration, or, quote, the viewpoints expressed in them, unquote, something has gone terribly wrong. And the libs of TikTok on X has picked it up. I mean, this is I mean, when this hits the national stage on something like this, we have questions. We definitely have some questions. Now, again, maybe it was just because it came from Hillsdale. Maybe they, because Hillsdale provides all these things to the school district to give away, give them away. And maybe they just didn't want, oh, it says Hillsdale on it. Slap a label on it. But somebody over on X makes a valid point. Now go check the library in the schools and look in the porn for kids section, right? The LGBT, whatever, look in that section and see if there's any stickers there. What? I mean, this, I don't even know what to say at this point about education other than this. If your kids are still in public school, going to the brick and mortar public schools, why? Don't you love your kids? Because with this kind of nonsense, oh, baby, I'd have sucked those people those kids had come right out of that school and gone right into a homeschooling or a charter school or something. I am not going to mess with it. If your kids are still, and especially in the Anchorage school. Yeah, I mean, remember somebody just also said, remember when ASD wouldn't let Ben Carson talk to the kids in Mountain View? I mean, if your kids are still going to that school, you need a checkup from the neck up. That's what I'm saying. Did they put the sticker on the Planned Parenthood materials? Asked Barbara. Probably not. I mean, I want to know. I want to know what's going on. Parents who don't homeschool, that Duke's Melissa is going to get upset with me. Parents who don't homeschool love their kids too. Homeschooling is not feasible for some families. It's unfortunate, but it's true. You got to find some other solution though, Melissa. Maybe it's not homeschool. Maybe it's a teacher share. Maybe it's something. But why would you put your most precious commodity back into this cesspool? Why would you do that? I would do anything to prevent my kids from having to go into something like that and deal with these crazy sons of the crazy people. Right? I mean, there's some crazy stuff. Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. Does it have a sticker on the books in the library? Does it have a sticker on the Planned Parenthood material in your health sciences class? Does it have a, I mean, I just all I can think of is this is madness, and then kicking the guy in the chest. No, this is Sparta. Because this is madness. This is absolute crazy stuff. Now, again, I'm sure somebody's just going to argue, well, it's just because it was a Hillsdale material and we didn't want to get too side by, blah, blah, blah. But okay, if that's the case, there better be a sticker like this on every other piece of literature that you have in the school that is that's not produced by the school. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. All right, we got to flee here. We're going to continue in just a moment. We will be back with more. The Michael Duke Show continues. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Major General Lukeman going to be joining us near the bottom of the hour.
Running on 100% pure beard power. Oh, also some coffee. We dip our beard in coffee.
Ha, nice beard.
The Michael Duke Show.
Okay. I mean, I'm literally flabbergasted at this point. Like, who, and even if you were, I don't have a copy. Actually, I'm sure I'd probably have a copy of the Hillsdale Declaration Constitution combo pack. I'm sure I have one somewhere. I just don't know where. But I mean, I just can't imagine that somebody thought, oh, this is a good idea. Let's just put this on here and it'll be fine. And I can't wrap my brain around it. It is the Constitution of the United States. And that's, I wonder if I can, let me look here. Hillsdale College Declaration Constitution. Is there a PDF of it? Get your free pocket Constitution. Okay, here it is. But is there a PDF of it? Compliments of Hillsdale College. Complete sentence of documents. Hillsdale. Here we go. I'm just looking here to see if I can see a copy of this thing. No, that's not it. That's not it. Here we go. The Pocket Constitution. Here we go. They send a record 3 million pocket constitutions nationwide. This year has sent out more than 3 million. I think the schools around the country. To view scans of the notes, to view videos of the Senate, to order a Hillsdale Pocket Constitution, blah, blah, blah. The Hillsdale Pocket Constitution is a small booklet containing the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. The booklets are available for free via an online form or mailed request. The college first printed the Pocket Constitutions in 2011. This year, Hillsdale has sent out more than 3 million Pocket Constitutions to schools, individuals, businesses, and legislators. A substantial increase from last year's 863,000. From 863,000 to 3 million. Yeah, I think it's definitely, schools around the country are able to request large order of pocket constitutions for students. Yeah, it's okay. So I don't have a copy of it, so I don't know exactly what's in it. But again, I'm trying to play a little devil's advocacy here to say, well, it was a Hillsdale thing and they were doing the deal. But I mean, man, some madness going on here. Again, I don't know why you'd want to put your kids in the middle of that. And I know, Melissa, I know some people can't can't afford it, can't do it, can't juggle it. I understand. We'll see. I'm scrolling down here. From the Picus report, it is our professional opinion that if Alaska provided school funding at the level of the EB model, and if Alaska schools use the resources in the model as indicated in Chapter 2, then its student achievement in Alaska would dramatically rise. Okay. All right. I'm scrolling through here. One basically says, oh, there's a new thing about the defined benefits as well. All right. Well, we're going to continue on here. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio.
The Michael Duke Show. Not your daddy. Wait, sorry. Not your daddy? Ooh, not your daddy's talk radio. Huh. Whew. I was scared for a second. Thought we were going down. Here's Michael Dukes and the show.
Okay. Oh, man. So I was actually out there trying to find a copy of this Pocket Constitution, like a PDF or a scan of it. There's a little handout that talks about how the Hillsdale has delivered this year. Hillsdale has sent more than 3 million Pocket Constitutions to schools, individuals, businesses, and legislators across the nation, which was a substantial increase from last year's 860,000. So they've tripled it. And schools around the country are able to request large orders of Pocket Constitutions for students. So apparently it's free of charge. It's a free Pocket Constitution. The free Pocket Constitutions are made available by request to individual schools and legislators. And yet this school district decided that it'd be a good idea to go ahead and slap a label on this Pocket Constitution saying that the ideas and things endorsed within is not a good idea. The Anchorage School District does not endorse these materials or the viewpoint expressed in them. Okay. Oh, there's some irony here in this, folks. There's some deep, deep irony. And you may want to check yourself on this. I'm just saying. Anyway, but I enough of this. I can't. My head is going to explode if we continue to track down on this side of the ledger. Because why would you put your kids into a school that has that kind of stuff going on, where they have to put a disclaimer on the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence saying that they don't endorse those ideas? That scares me. Why would you send your kids to an institution like that? Why? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? That's it right there. All right. I want to we're going to change gears here a little bit. For those of you who don't know, today is November 10th. And it was on this day 250 years ago that a man named Samuel Nicholas stepped into the Tun Tavern and started signing guys up for what was to become known as the United States Marine Corps. He was the first commissioned officer, and he was there in the tavern signing guys. It's the first one started in a bar. It was one of the headlines I saw yesterday. One of the first. It's the first branch of the service that was started in a bar, which is kind of hysterical. And today marks the 250th anniversary of the Corps. And they've never been the biggest branch, but they've always been out there at the tippy, pointy end of the spear, doing things that, nobody else was doing, and doing more with less. And there is a certain amount of esprit de corps that goes on there that guys like me just admire, like more than I could tell you. And of course, being the 250th anniversary of the Corps. So first of all, happy birthday, Semper Fi, hoorah. There's also the Marine Heritage Foundation, which is dedicated to the preservation and promulgation of Marine Corps history. It was established in 1979. It supports the historical programs of the Corps in ways not possible through government funds. And it provides grants and scholarships for research and the renovation, restoration, and commissioning of historical Marine Corps artifacts and landmarks. And they have created a new program called Marines Across America, which highlights and spotlights notable Marines in all 50 states, including some here in Alaska. Joining us this morning to talk about this is Major General Jim Lukeman, who is coming on board to give us some insight and some details. Good morning, General.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on board. I appreciate you taking the time out today to do this. So first and foremost, can you tell us a little bit more about the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation and what you guys, what are some of the things that people might know you for?
Sure. Well, first, happy 250th birthday to all the Marines out there. And yes, the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation, our mission is to preserve and share that Marine Corps story with all Americans. And we've been doing that for a while. We work out of the National Museum of the Marine Corps, which we raised the money for 20 years ago, designed and built this fantastic museum, which is the National Museum of the Marine Corps, just outside of Quantico, Virginia, just outside of Quantico Marine Corps Base, about a half hour south of DC. And so that's one of the main ways that we preserve and share the Marine Corps story with all the country. But for the 250th, we wanted to go beyond the walls of the museum and take this message to the American people.
And I think it's important because, again, Marines have been around for, 250 years, from that first charge, across the beach in the Bahamas to, Guadalcanal to Iwo to, every major engagement in our nation's history, fighting the Barbary pirates, etc., has been they've been there. The Marines have been there. They are part of the foundation, the DNA of what I think probably makes America the greatest nation on earth. And it's that fighting spirit, again, of doing a little with a lot, and being out there and being willing to be the pointy end of the spear for 250 years.
Yeah, and so you're exactly right. You said it all. So what Marines and what the Marine Corps and Marines have done for this country, and that's what we stop every year on November 10th, birthday of the Corps, to remember who we are and what we stand for. But like you said, Marine Corps has fought in every war the country's ever had, even before it was a country. But then we wanted to also highlight what Marines have done for this country. Most Marines get out after their 4-year enlistment, and then some stay on and retire. But most of them get out and they go back into their communities, and they've done so much good in the communities that we wanted to recognize that. And that's this whole Marines Across America program you mentioned. Is we wanted to go state by state, identifying folks that are Marines, no longer serving on active duty, who have just done great things, whether that's a school teacher or a policeman or a firefighter or a local politician or a business leader or an athlete or an actor, or you name it. We've tried to identify folks across the country and do a little press release on them locally so that Americans recognize that, hey, this is not just what the Corps has done, but what Marines have done for our country for 250 years.
Right. And you found folks across all 50 states. Obviously, there's Marines in all 50 states. Now, Alaska has a higher veteran population per capita than any other state in the nation. We got a lot of them up here as a proportion of our population. And so I imagine there's quite a few Marines that could be highlighted here. Who have you guys singled out here of formerly active duty Corps members who are you should highlight in the community here? Yeah,
well, obviously Senator Sullivan is a Marine and has represented Alaska well in the Senate for a long time. But he's first and foremost a Marine, so he's very helpful. One of the things that we did this year as a foundation was we got the U.S. Mint to do a commemorative coin in honor of 250 years of the Marine Corps, and that required us to get a law passed. So Senator Sullivan, Senator Blumenthal, and a couple of representatives, Representative Moulton, Representative from Michigan, Jack Bergman. They helped us get that legislation sponsored and across the line so we could do that. So we're grateful for that. And then I'd have to look at the Marine250.com webpage to remember the other Alaskan Marine that we've recognized.
Sure.
From Alaska.
Well, I know you listed here in the email here. Sarah Gray is one. She's a special ed teacher. We've got John Rowan, who is a Marine Corps veteran and a wood carver who spent 2 months carving that totem pole. I mean, that's quite a feat. And then, of course, Iditarod Musher, Keaton Lobrick.
Sure, that's right. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, and that's the idea is folks just like that who are in the community, because a lot of Americans today don't think they know a Marine. They don't think they're connected to the Corps. Unless you have somebody in your family who's serving. But the fact is, they do know Marines. They just didn't know that they were Marines. And so many Marines that go on to be successful and do things, they point back to what they learned at boot camp or officer candidate school and say, well, that's why I am who I am today. Because once a Marine, always a Marine. That eagle, globe, and anchor gets tattooed on your heart and it doesn't go away. Exactly.
Yeah, no. It's interesting because in Alaska, there's no Marine Corps facilities, right? There's not a Marine base. There's not, you guys rotate in for training and things like that, but there's no, really visible thing here in Alaska, which I always thought was kind of a bummer. But you guys are still here doing things. You have the Toys for Tots, the recruitment drives, things that you do here. What else is going on here in Alaska with the Corps?
Yeah. Well, one of the places to look for those events is that website that I talked about, marine250.com. But we just created that as a clearinghouse for being able to post events that are happening around the 250th. So there are different birthday ceremonies happening this weekend all around the country. There's one at the Alaska. It's either going to happen at the State House. I'd have to check again to see where that is. You know where that is, Mike? Where they're going to do the cake cutting up there? Because every governor agreed to recognize the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps. So we had a ceremony somewhere this weekend, somewhere up there.
Well, yeah, I'll see where it's at. I think it's probably at the it's probably at Juneau at the governor's mansion. But I'm
going to pull it up while we're talking, see if I can figure it out.
Okay. And of course, if folks want to find out more about the history of the Corps, I know that the Marine Corps has you have the Marine Corps University. Now, some of that stuff is available only to people who are actually enlisted and everything, but there's a lot of great history out there. I've been through that site a couple times, and I've looked through a lot of the historical retellings of some of the battles and things like that. There's a lot of great history if you want to find out more about what makes the Corps, in my mind, probably the finest branch of the service out there. There's a lot of great history available out there.
Yes, and we've been helpful. It's one of the things we do as the foundation is this idea of preserving Marine Corps history. So we work with the history division and taking all the film that they have, which would decay over time, and we're getting all that digitized now, and then that goes up online as publicly. You can access that digital film. It's through the University of South Carolina is how we're doing it. They're the ones that are digitizing the film for us, and that so you can actually go look at the original footage of landings on Iwo Jima and things like that. It's all open to the public. So it's been a real good part of what we do in preserving history.
Yeah, I will say that I had the opportunity, well, this is quite a while ago now, I'm showing my age, to fly out to Guam and to work with some of the Marines there who were flying air superiority missions over during the initial days of the operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. And to be able to fly up there, to touch the sands of Iwo Jima, to be able to watch these guys refuel and be part of the refueling process and watching these F-18s. I mean, it's an amazing thing to see all the work and dedication that, well, all the service members, but especially the Marine Corps has put into this is truly telling. And so I hope that folks can, take a moment today, just take a beat and think about all the history that's behind this. And if you know a Marine, thank a Marine and wish them a very happy birthday of the Corps. Major General Jim Lukeman, any final thoughts here for today as we get things wrapped up and try and get our celebration of 250 years started?
Yeah, well, that's right. We're getting it started. Is right. But like you said, born in a bar. It's going to be a great party today, celebrating 250 years of the Marine Corps. But like you said, remember, there's over 30,000 Marines forward deployed and forward stationed around the world right now today, doing exactly what they need to do to keep this country safe. And that's why Marines are out there ready to go, first to fight, ready to fight tonight to do what must be done. So think about them, think about their families, and like you said, tell somebody happy birthday, Marine.
All right. Well, General, thank you so much. Semper Fi, my friend. And we appreciate your service, and we appreciate all that you're doing to help bring awareness to the fight and to the greatness that is the U.S. Marine Corps. Thank you for coming on board.
Semper Fi. Hurrah. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to continue here in just a moment. We've got more coming up. The Michael Duke Show continues. It is your home for common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. We'll be back right after this.
We're broadcasting live through a series of tubes. Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Sorry. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
All right. Major General Jim Lukeman's still with us here real quick. I thought I'd say thank you, General. Thank you for coming on board. And I noticed that your website still says TBD for the cake cutting in Alaska.
Yes. I did the same. I pulled it up and saw the same thing. I don't know why we don't have a better fix on what happened in Alaska. So,
okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem. If you let me know, we'll post it up for folks on our Facebook page so they can see.
I'll go talk to the team that's putting. They're here today. I'll go talk to the team that's putting that together and figure out why we don't know what's going on in Alaska.
I appreciate it. Thank you, General.
Thanks, Michael.
Appreciate it. Happy birthday to the Corps. Thanks for
happy birthday to you too. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
All right. Appreciate it. Major General Jim Lukeman, our guest here on the program. Yeah, I mean, that'd be some tasty cake. Celebrating 250. Let's see here. And I'm looking up here. I'm looking back at previous comments. West Valley High in Fairbanks has the only USMC high school JROTC in the state of Alaska. Yeah, I've got a chance to meet with some of those folks, and they were some great folks up there at the Marine Corps Junior ROTC. Had a chance to meet them last year, and they were just some great folks, great kids up there as well. Yeah, the war on the Barbary pirates. There's some, when you talk about the retaking of the Enterprise and the fight there on the shores of Tripoli, and man, there's some heroism there, folks. If you can read all those stories about what took place in those times, and especially some of the fighting that went on there on the Barbary Coast and everything else that happened, if you can read that without a dry eye, there's something wrong with you, man, because there's some truly heroic things that went on there, for sure. All right, let's see. The United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights are not political documents. They're foundational to our freedom. Every student deserves to understand the principles that protect their rights, guide our governments, and unite us as Americans. I agree, Donna. Like I said, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to think that this people, just because it came from Hillsdale, that's why they put the stickers on it. But that would only be applicable if they put the same sticker on stuff from every other outside organization. That's, Oh, here's another one for you, says Melissa, former school board president. A veteran dad asked his daughter's teacher here in town if for Veterans Day the class would play God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. Teacher said yes, but then the principal came and said absolutely not. The school is not allowed to play that as it violates policy. But she says there is no policy. That sounds like a teacher problem or a principal problem, not a teacher problem. All right. we're still stuck on this pocket constitution thing. I know. I know. I just don't even know what to say. Let's see. This is what the shutdown was about. People can't afford medical insurance now, so the GOP think people should pay now, and that's a fact. Renee, I hate to tell you this, but this was always part of the plan. It was always supposed to be phased out, and they've only been it was supposed to be phased out, and they just keep renewing it because they've created a constituency. That's part of the problem. And this is part of the problem. The reason that they were able to justify it is because they were mandated to have insurance. Maybe we should get the government out of all the insurance business, and maybe that would help drive the cost down a little bit. All right. All right. Sale of all seafood on military bases and commissaries via an amendment. Virgil Umpenauer was able to stop the sale of all seafood on military bases and commissaries via an amendment from Dan Sullivan. But that was random, Frank, and I'm not sure why would you want seafood not to be sold on military bases and commissaries? Questions. I mean, Renee says because people can't afford it anymore. And again, I understand, but does that require government intervention? Especially since it was government intervention that's driven a lot of these costs in the first place? Does that require, I mean, they've already screwed it up. Two wrongs don't make a right is what I'm saying. So you've already had government intervention into the healthcare system that's caused the problem. And now you want the government to go in and fix what they kerfluffled in the first place.
The Michael Duke Show. Not your daddy. Wait, sorry. Not your daddy? Ooh, not your daddy's talk radio. Whew. I was scared for a second. Thought we were going down. Here's Michael Dukes and the show.
Okay, we're continuing on now. Had a chance to visit with General Lukeman there. And we're going to see if we can get details on where the cake cutting is, because it's not listed on their website here this morning. It says TBD for Alaska. I don't know why. I don't know. He didn't know why either. Somebody was about to go get a talking to. I'm just saying. Anyway, he said he's going to try and get that information back to us, and we'll let you know where you can attend the cake cutting today. If you are in the area, we will let you know. There's an interesting thing. It's interesting commentary here in the chat room by one of our listeners, Renee, who said that people were talking about the shutdown, and that it had to do with this Medicaid, Medicare, the payout and the reimbursement on the tax credits and everything else. And Renee says, this is what the shutdown was about. People can't afford medical insurance now, so the GOP think people should pay now, and that's a fact. And I think part of the problem with that mindset from folks like Renee, many people believe that, is that they believe that somehow having the government fixed what they broke is the answer. Because one of the reasons why people can't afford medical insurance is because of overarching and overwhelming government regulation. They've essentially created siloed monopolies in many of the states and many of the communities where only, you can only have your choice of this or that provider of insurance or anything else. Somebody who lives in, some company that does business in Florida can't just arbitrarily sell insurance to somebody in Alaska. Right? They're siloed into their areas. There's only a certain people that can do business in certain areas according to government regulations and the way that they put all these things in place. And the answer to that is not to, have the same people that broke the system come in and try and fix it, because if they knew what to do, they wouldn't have broken it in the first place. Right? She goes on to say, because people can't afford it anymore. When I made the point to say, the Affordable Care Act, that stipend, that reimbursement was never supposed to be forever. That was supposed to be a short-term fix, and it was supposed to term out. It was supposed to expire, but they've been extending it year after year. And so then this year, for the first year, they didn't do that. And it is expired as it was, it was written into the law to expire as it was intended. And Renee's answer is, are we supposed to just let people die? And of course, we don't want anybody to die. But there comes a point to where you have to ask the question, how do we pay for all these great things? From the assistance to the housing, to the healthcare, to everything. At what point we've created a dependency society across the nation, not just Alaska, but at this point, and in this regard, across the nation. You mandated health insurance on everybody, even those people who were healthy. Remember, the vast majority of those who are 30 and under don't have health problems. And in fact, many of them don't have health insurance. And historically never did, because they didn't need it. But because this mandate, the only way to pay for it was to get everybody on health insurance and make it a government mandate and make those healthy people pay into the system for something that they'll never use to offset the cost of those who would. I mean, that sounds like a great idea, right? What about children? What is their choice? I mean, again, I'm not saying this is a perfect solution. I'm saying, how do you pay for it? $38 trillion in debt and growing exponentially. Right? I mean, this is supposed to be what nonprofits and churches and other things were supposed to do, but a lot of those functions have been taken over by the government over these years. I mean, look, you want to see how it works? Let me just walk you through something quickly here. Prior to Obamacare, I had health insurance for my family, and it was good health insurance. It was a gold plan, right? I mean, it was one of the higher plans. Blue Cross Blue Shield was doing fine, cost me $975 a month, which was a significant portion of my income, right? I mean, it was a good chunk of my income every month, but I did it because I had kids and yada, 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 and to do it. When Obamacare went through, when the Affordable Care Act went through, and they mandated it, and they put us all out of the whole thing. You want to know what my health insurance was for exactly the same plan? $2,400 a month. Because the government got involved, Renee. I mean, there was government regulation and things on my previous plan, but once the government got involved, it tripled the cost of my plan. Now you want the government to come in and stop subsidizing that tripling of the plan. because that's what they were, that's what they're trying. They have to subsidize. If somebody had the same thing that I had and they met the income threshold, et cetera, they would get the reimbursement for, whatever it is down to whatever they can afford. I mean, that's insane. So to think that the same group of yahoos who did that tripled the cost of healthcare for the vast majority of Americans out there, because most of the people that I talked to, it was at least a doubling or tripling of their healthcare costs, then so be it. I mean, that's just what we have to do. We have to make that decision. We can't be all things to all people. And if the government would just get out of the way and relinquish all that BS control of stuff, we could get back to a more reasonable time where people could afford health care. It's the fact that we have politicians thinking they can solve the problem. We have insurance companies that are playing into the regulations that have been created by those politicians and then preventing any kind of competition from happening by keeping those regulations in place. Medical companies, pharma, all that kind of stuff, raking in the money. And you think that somehow, letting the government loose on this and encouraging them to just keep spending more money is going to fix it? That's not going to happen. I mean, it can't continue. Not at $38 trillion. Nobody wants somebody to be sick. Nobody wants somebody to die. But there has to come a point where people pull themselves up by their bootstraps and do what they need to do. If my health insurance goes up, guess what? I'm still going to pay for it. Because I gotta. We're going to do what we have to do. That may sound harsh. That may sound whatever. But again, government is the problem. It's not the solution to the problem. Government is the problem. And to go back and unleash them on something that they already screwed up to begin with is not going to fix it. All right, we got to go. Tomorrow is Tuesday. That means the weekly deep dive with Brad Keithley. We got Chris Story coming in and more. We got a full week ahead. We're ready to go. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Be kind, love one another, live well. Okay. All right, my friends. Yeah. The politicians didn't develop the program. The insurance companies did. No conflict of interest there. Right? Terry says our insurance tripled. Chris says his tripled. Melissa says they pay $1,800 a month for healthcare insurance. Oof. Yeah. Again, you can't pay for everything for everybody. All right, we got to go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be kind. Love one another. Live well.
We've shed our terrestrial radio skin, and now we are slimy lizard internet people. It's the Michael Duke Show.